guys. I don't know how much this will be in frame. This is the stave I'm going to use for the staff sling coming up. It's yew. As you can see the two layers there. Which was always recognizable from the yew longbows that had the, well, not had, they're still made today, that have the light colored sapwood on the back of the bow and the darker colored for the belly. But this, I'm going to do the same kind of thing with it. I'm going to cut it down to make the staff sling. This will be way easier than a bow because I'm not going to have to worry about tapering it. A couple things with this stave. This end is pretty straight, but on this end it starts to get a little bit of a curve to it. You can see it's curving downward. So I'm going to make this the bottom of the staff and keep the straight part for the top. So the staff will ultimately be like this. Alright, but anyway, first step is going to be cut this thing down on the cross section. I'm going to make probably about like that. I don't have a planned diameter for the staff, but just I'm going to cut it down to what I think feels all right, but I'm thinking probably somewhere between an inch and a quarter, somewhere in there. But I want to keep as much of the sapwood as possible. So something like that. All right, we get cutting. Alright, so I took all those corners off, because this is going to be the round cross section here anyway, so those would get taken off. But no, I like the feel of this so far, and it's going to be much. I mean, what this weighs right now, I could use this as a staff sling. It's curtain weight, and it's probably going to be, when it's done, probably half of what it weighs right now. But I think this is going to look pretty unique when it's all done. Alright guys, this is going to be step number 2. Got the stave in my stave press here. I'm going to use the draw knife just to take the bark off. And then here's my great big farrier's rasp. These things take wood away crazy fast. So it shouldn't take, I mean, it'll take a little bit of time, but not too long to get this taken down to essentially a staff shape the whole way down. First is guys, just an update on the staff sling here. It's coming along well. I've got it down to a round shape, basically the staff shape the whole way along it. It's still really thick, so there's still going to be a lot of wood to take off. The weight right now it's a little over 1,700 grams, right around like 3 3/4 pounds. So at the end, I'd like to get that down to under 3, maybe somewhere between 2.5 and 3 pounds. I'd be fine with. Other thing, I'm not sure how this is going to work with this kind of length, because right now this staff sling is going to be taller than me by a little bit. If it ends up being too long, it'll be easy just to cut it off shorter. I just might need to use a step to get some power with it, just because of all the extra length that there is. But the throw might kind of end up looking like this. But at the end of the day, that has no weight on the end, so I don't know. We'll see. Alright guys, it's test time. I'll show you this real quick. And this isn't done, so it's still going to look a little bit rough, but I want to make sure it at least kind of works before I go through sanding and putting a finishing coat on it. But there's the head, which this loop slips off really easy, so I think it's going to be okay despite being really large. But we'll see with this test if I have to take this down a little bit or not. And there's kind of the overall height, although we've seen this before, so it's probably, I don't know, a couple inches taller than I am. The weight, I think I mentioned in another one, it's just a little bit under that 3-pound mark, like 2 pounds 15 ounces, something like that. But here's kind of this is just the sling I pulled from another staff I have in there. Let's give this a throw and see what happens. All right, dry throws seem to be okay. Let me go get an ice ball. All right, that did pretty good. I mean, I need a shorter sling, obviously, to get that projectile up in the air a bit more, but that worked well. Okay, I found a shorter one. Okay, shorter sling. Let's try this. That's definitely better. Strangely, I still might need to go a little bit shorter. Let's see if I can get a slow motion shot. All right, it's working nice enough. The weight's not bad. You know, if it was just slightly lighter, that might be better, but it's not bad to handle. This sling, yeah, I tried to put more speed on that last slow motion shot. We'll see what that looks like, and I tried to throw it faster, and that did bring the ice ball up a bit, but they're still really doing a downward trajectory. But test one is good enough. Reason for jumping back to it, I just wasn't real happy with the size that it was. Like I said, I think the weight was okay, but just it felt, there's another way to say it, it just felt too big to move it well. But it wasn't really about weight, it was just about the amount of grip I could hold on. It's just like moving a really big box or big piece of furniture or something that doesn't weigh a whole lot, but still, just because of the size of it, it's a pain to try to move it around. That's kind of the perception that this was giving me. Well, you can see here we're back to the file again. Going over, try to get all the big tool marks out. I think the size of this staff is going to be good now.
Not positive. Still might end up taking it down a little bit again, but hopefully not. I mean, even if it does get to the point that I want to take some more down, I'm probably still going to try to do some sessions, recorded sessions with this as it is, just to use it for a bit and make sure that I do want to make it thinner if that does happen to be the case. I think it's going to be okay though, because it's down under 2.5 pounds now, closer to 2.25 pounds. Got the file here going, taking out all the big tool marks, and then I'll give it a test. And then if it seems good, then I'll do a sanding and an actual finish on it to finish it. All right, guys, this thing's to the shape, and I've taken it down with the file, so it's pretty smooth out too. I'll still have to do the last sanding and finishing, but we'll get to that. I do want to test this out first and make sure that it is throwing okay. I was going to set up a target and do, you know, something a little more involved, but there's a little bit, it seems to have stopped now, but there was a little bit of a drizzle out here, so everything's wet now, and it's chilly, and just I don't want to go through a whole setup if it does, because it's still gray. It might start raining again. But either way, here, I'll back up so you can see this. And here's the, let's see if I can make sure this is, and same as before, I just wrap some paracord around here to kind of hold the sling in place. I might use that technique when this is actually finished. Don't know yet. But so here's the sling, and so let's go like. But so I'm gonna move the camera over here, still underneath my porch, so it's out of the rain if that does it again, and just come up in the yard here and throw maybe a handful of ice balls. I just want to see if the motion and the size of this staff now all seem to be okay. So let's take a look at a couple throws. Alright, got a few ice balls here. I'll do some throws, and if this seems to work, maybe we'll do another angle too, just see what it looks like. I'm still pretty shocked because this sling isn't very long. I will get a measurement, put it up on the screen. The weight of the sling feels good. The size feels good, but it's still throwing almost directly into the ground. I mean, the 10 to 12 meters hitting the ground in front of me. So I don't know. I guess this sling still needs to be a lot shorter. But actually, let me see if I can do that real quick and get another test here, which is weird because I mean I don't know why this is doing that, because the other ones were longer and they were higher up off the ground. I've been trying to shorten up on this, but it was still doing that. Don't know. Let me shorten up real quick. All right, we're ready for another quick test here. Here's how much. Knots weren't perfectly straight. That should be fine. I'll set this in the wet grass. Either way, that's about how much the sling has been shortened. I want to see some front shots of that. Alright guys, put a bigger pouch on this sling. It's time to test what this was actually made for. Well, not specifically, but in general. This is back to the old days of slinging big stones. This one's 1,069 grams, I think. So, I don't know what, like a little under 2.5 pounds. Oh, this is gonna get heavy quick. All right, let's go. And the target's real close. It's probably only about 10 meters or so, because I think this stone's gonna go right toward the ground. That worked. It did go low. That worked better than I thought. Gotta try that one more time. All right, number 2. Oh, damn. Okay, that took the sling with it, but that hit was great. All right, let's go check it out. And on here, I can certainly see the impact zone right there. You can see that gash, and there's certainly an indentation there. Let's look at the back. Oh yeah, cracked it. All right, guys, well, we've got a successful first test with this staff. Guys, my camera died there, ran out of battery, but this got all sanded down, so it's ready to go. This feels so smooth now, it's pretty crazy. But let me see if I can get a, I don't think I'm focusing on, there we go. This is about it. I'm gonna go through a burnishing stage, which actually I'll show you that here real quick. Okay, so this will be the next step I'll do, and I'll do it inside. I'm not gonna bother recording it. You just need something that's very hard, which I use a piece of horn, but anything that's harder than the wood will work. And all you do is just take that and rub it on the surface. And I'll go over the whole thing 2, maybe even 3 times. I mean, I'll see how it is. But what this does is this compresses the outer layer of the fibers of the wood, and it helps to seal it, it helps shine it up, and it makes it look nicer and makes it stronger, makes it more resistive to, you know, taking a nick or a dent. That's really it for that. So I'll go in and turn on a video and just rub this thing all over the whole thing. And then once that's done, then I'm going to get a coat of oil put on this. But I'll show you that, because that'll probably be, I don't know, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But this is burnishing, so I'll do that, and then we'll be almost done. It's dark outside, or I'd do this outside, but I love yew so much. It's such a pretty wood, especially with that two-tone. All right. And this stuff is really old. This is the oil I've used to put on longbows when I would make them. It smells really good. What this is a 50-50 mix of linseed oil, boiled linseed oil, and shellac. And this is just, I use this because when I went to workshops to learn how to make longbows, this is what he used. So I was just like, oh, I really like that, so I'll use that too. And so I'm just gonna pick this up off there. Go one end. I'm just gonna put this. Alrighty. Put a little bit of lint on there, but even if there is some, it's not a big deal. It'll wipe right off. Okay, well, there's coating number one, and wow, that looks amazing. I don't know how well it's showing up in the camera, but I mean, ultimately, I want to show this outside anyway, where the light is good. But all right, I'm gonna stand this up over. I don't know if I'm frame or not. I'm gonna go stand this up over here where it's not gonna be sitting in the sawdust right here, and I'll give this coat a half hour or whatever to dry and absorb into the wood, and then we'll put coat number 2 on it. All right, guys, we have reached the end. There is the staff sling. I'm hoping this shows up well enough. I'll come around back and try to get some really close-up shots here in a minute. But I can't even really begin to say how well I think this turned out. You know, just looking at it, I think this might be the most beautiful thing I've ever made. And it definitely falls into that category of I'm kind of afraid to sling with it and mess it up. But no, it just came out so well. I think some. Hopefully this is showing up well. Just hopefully that grain is coming out on the camera, and just that finish on it just gives it almost a glassy look. And then after on the test with the big stone, the sling flew off. So I did the same kind of wrap as I did before, but I just put it on both sides of the sling, so it can't move. That's just not moving at all. But it's also, the sling itself goes over top, so if I do have to take the sling off, I can, and there'll just be that little gap there. Let's sling some ice.